Hello there. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. This is the look for today. And I gotta be honest, this look went through a lot of transformations. Today we're trying new makeup to see what's new, what's good, what's poppin', what's weird, what's creepy. And let me tell you, there were a lot of different collections. Some were holiday collections, some were Halloween collections, some were everyday collections. And I really tried to make it work, but you're gonna have to watch this video in its entirety until the end just to see what exactly worked and what didn't. So with that, let's get into this video. What's new in makeup for the end of October and my little slightly spooky, slightly dark, slightly vampy look. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let's hit it. All right, here we are. Fresh faced. I'm a little bit dark today because, you know, Halloween's around the corner and I hardly ever wear dark clothing on camera. Whenever I film, I always like to wear white so that the makeup stands out and so like the background isn't distracting. But today I was like, you know what? I'm feeling a little spooky and I don't know what exactly I'm going to do for Halloween. This video is being pre-filmed, so I have no plans as of right now. So right now, everything's about my launch. But anyways, enough chatting. There's never enough chatting. What am I saying? Let me quickly prime the center of my face with my yummy skin blurring balm powder. I have a lot of new products to test out today. They're all over the place, literally. I have some holiday collections. I have some Halloween collections. I have just some random regular concealers from a few brands that I want to test. So I'm thinking I'm actually going to use concealer all over my face instead of foundation today, just because I have a number of concealers to test. So here we are. First and foremost, LYS has a new concealer, and this is what it looks like. This is one of the lighter shades. This is one of the medium shades. Nice triangular shape. This is kind of cool because it comes with a sponge, but the sponge is removable. And then underneath the sponge is this little needle nose tip applicator. But I'm not actually sure how this disperses the product. I thought it would be cool if there was like a little release button, but I guess you have to twist it. So let me go ahead and twist it. Okay, it comes up. That's nice. So this is shade MN1, which is not my foundation shade, but I think it'll work for concealer shade, considering the fact that typically for concealer, you want a little brightening, right? This is supposed to be a medium to full coverage concealer. Okay, yeah, it definitely is offering some coverage. I like that. And the fact that it's a neutral undertone is not scaring me. All right, so here we have that concealer. Obviously, the light I think is too light for me. I'm definitely in the medium range when it comes to LYS and also Pure. They use the exact same naming convention. I believe the shades are even the same. So I'm going to stick to this one. And of course, the lighter one is going to go to my sister. I'm going to save that for her. Also, we've got some new concealers from Makeup Forever. Also some new powders. I'm going to talk about those in a second, but first the concealers. All right, so this is supposed to be a full coverage concealer. It's supposed to be undetectable on the skin, 36-hour full coverage, ultra fine texture, undetectable, feels like nothing, no cakey effect, and look what we have here. This is also a double-ended applicator like the LYS. So we have on the top here, little brush, you see that? And then if you twist it open, there's a little sponge tip applicator. Or like a doe foot, like a regular type of applicator that you're used to. That's cool. Okay, fab. So here I have shade 2N26 and 2N22. A lot of neutral shades were sent to me today. Let's test those. So this is 2N26. Nice. And here we have 2N22. A little bit lighter, but definitely something I can use. I'm thinking that the LYS I can probably use under the eyes for brightening, but the Makeup Forever is what's gonna go all over my face. It's settled then. Let me remove all that. I don't know if you noticed, but the skin gods have decided to punish me right before my birthday. Like, what is going on my face? There's a few sprawling types of bumps. They hurt, they're red, they're irritated. I'm not happy with them. And they're all kind of concentrated on this side of the face. This side of the face is okay for whatever reason. But I even have these tiny little pimples on my forehead and I hardly ever break out on my forehead. So I don't know. I'm just going to attribute that to stress, to just like my workload this week. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm not happy. But I'm going to try not to let me down. No, but I'm going to try not to let it bring me down. So let's test this concealer. So I typically never apply my face base like this, but I feel like today is the day that I test it out exactly like this, just because the skin is calling for it. Oh, odd, but this concealer actually feels a little bit stingy around my mouth area. It doesn't feel stingy on the cheeks, but here for some reason, around the nose, and the closer I get to my mouth, the stingier it feels. That's kind of odd, no? I wonder what the ingredients breakdown is. Should probably look that up. All right, and also, although this brush is cute, it's just like, I don't really see myself reaching for it that much, unless I'm truly on the go. Huh. But wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. This actually does seem to blend out into nothing. It's looking quite undetectable up close, even though you could see the spots on my face. Promising. All right, I'm going to take a larger brush. I feel like I let it sit on my face for a good amount of time, and now I'm just going to kind of push them into my skin. Is it me or is the color changing a little bit? When it's concentrated as a dot, I feel like it was starting to oxidize a little bit warmer, like a little bit more orangey. But then the moment I started pushing that into my skin, it kind of went back. Oh, that's pretty good. That is rather decent. I'm a fan of Makeup Forever complexion products, especially their original products. Like the original HD Skin line is really good. And even older, the original HD line, the very first one, was just excellent. But then they started coming out with all these like sheer water-based formulas that sounded good but didn't really perform. And I don't know, I kind of just drifted away from Makeup Forever for a bit. I wasn't crazy about any of their glowy foundations. I didn't like any of those water tone. They were just not reliable for me, for my skin type. But this is reminding me of what Makeup Forever is so good at, what this brand excels at, HD makeup. This is originally what they stood for. This product is giving that. It's very much reminiscent of those days of makeup. You can see how pigmented this concealer is. Definitely a little bit goes a long way, which is nice. I am actually gonna reach for that little brush just to get in this little crevice in between my brows. Honestly, not bad. Not bad at all. Right now, because of the breakouts, I do have a little bit of flakiness happening. And so that's the only thing that I am noticing. The concealer is kind of emphasizing the flakes, but not in a terrible, tragic way. Kind of like in an expected way. All right, so now I'm just gonna go crazy. Gonna apply it all over. And once again, I'm gonna buff. The finish of this is also on the matte side, which not everyone is gonna like because matte sometimes tends to emphasize texture because it just has this quality of being clingy to the skin. So if it works if you're very oily and the product mixes with your oils, but if you have any sort of acne breakouts, types of texture, pores, fine lines, and especially if you're a drier skin type, then matte is not really gonna be your best friend. But for me right now, it seems to be okay. Definitely I can still see my breakouts, especially if I turn away from the light, you can see the texture coming back. But if I lean towards the light, it looks a little bit smoother. Perhaps in this trial, I just learned that this concealer is not meant to be used all over the face like I just did. Maybe it's good for just spot concealing because all over the face definitely gives it a bit of a textured finish. So yeah, perhaps a little bit too heavy, perhaps a little bit too noticeable. But this side of the face, the one that doesn't have bumps, I'm even noticing bumps here. It's kind of emphasizing the bumps. All right, I'm gonna try another shade, the lighter one, right here in the under eye, just to see how it wears and how it blends out in this delicate area. I don't know, you guys. I'm not sure how I feel about this concealer. I'm not sure if I like it because my first impression was that it reminded me of Makeup Forever's original HD foundations. It seemed to be undetectable on the skin when applied in specific strategic areas, like a dotting method. But then the more I applied, the more it started looking kind of noticeable. I'm not sure if you're seeing what I'm talking about on camera. Perhaps this is a camera-friendly type of product, but in person, in my very close-up mirror, I'm just not liking how it's emphasizing my acne bumps. It's not really making me feel comfortable in my skin. All right, I guess I should move on and test out the LYS concealer on my other under eye. Thing with this packaging though is that I keep wanting to twist it for whatever reason, but I have to remember that you just have to pull it and then you twist it, or you keep the sponge tip on and then you twist it. Okay, off the bat, not my favorite applicator, although I appreciate the fact that there's a sponge and the fact that there's a precise little nozzle. I just find the twisting method way too time consuming for me personally. I don't know, something about this sponge application, it's kind of hard to control. You don't really see how much product is coming out into the sponge, and so you end up with way too much product. But anyways, let's see how this actually blends out. I have also a cool new LYS triangle shaped brush. They are really on brand with that triangle shape. I appreciate that. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. This is bright and this is full coverage. Absolutely covered everything. And it really just brought so much light and so much vibrancy to my under eye, just to like this whole under eye area. I feel like it almost saved the face base. Kind of wish I had a slightly darker shade so that it's not so glammy. And also something that I can use all over just to see if it works. But I really do like how pigmented this is, yet how easy it is to blend out. Impressive. So although I'm not a fan of the applicator, the product itself, so far so good. I'm gonna add that right on top of the other Makeup Forever concealer. Blend it out. So nice. So nice, actually. All right. How about here? How about here? Everywhere. Okay, so outside of the brightness, I would say the LYS concealer is a lot more undetectable on the skin than the Makeup Forever. I think the formula here is much more forgiving on texture, on the delicate under eye, and even on the movable zones like here around the forehead and the brows. I think I like this. This, however, I can't tell just yet. I feel like maybe perhaps there's a learning curve with this one. Perhaps I don't need to be wearing this all over the face. Maybe I need to come back to it. Something about it just isn't as intuitive. Actually, neither one of them are really intuitive, but this one even less so. Next up, we have a bunch of new powders. First of all, I have new powders from Makeup Forever, and you guys have probably seen these all over TikTok. There are just so many ads, so many people have been sharing these. So this is basically just a pressed powder in the HD Skin line. This is a perfecting pressed powder. I have it here in shade medium. This is made in Italy. And I also have shade light. There's actually also a light medium. For some reason, they either didn't send me one or I didn't pick that one. I don't know, but light medium is probably what I would go for like my under eye, for the center of my face, and medium I would use in the perimeter, but whatever. I'm just gonna work with what I have. Also, we have this new box from Catrice, and one of the drawers here has a whole bunch of new matte setting powders, literally a whole bunch. Actually, two of them on the top are the Bright and Blur setting powders in soft pink and soft peach, and these almost remind me of those MAC loose highlighter powders because these are shimmery, and so I'm not sure exactly what you're supposed to use these for. I guess to add like a overall ambient aura sort of a veil. For me, I really only like that sort of finish in my highlighter. I don't want a loose shimmery powder all over my face. So I'm gonna go for the matte one. These are really, really hard to take out of the package, so bear with me. All right, this is shade light. There's also a translucent. So here we have translucent, here we have light. We're gonna try them all. We're gonna go for it. All right, so I'm lightly setting the under eye with the white translucent powder from Catrice. So far, so good. I'm not really seeing anything unique and different here. This is a fine, decent powder, but nothing that I haven't tried before. In fact, I find that it adds just a little bit of heaviness, which I don't like. Wow, I'm feeling very critical today. What is going on? I'm gonna try the Makeup Forever one on the other side, and I'm gonna do the same thing but with a brush. So this is shade light, and it is very, very light. I will say it's like quite ivory light. Whoa. This is a rather pigmented but thin type of powder. So it's not giving bulk, but it's definitely giving pigment. Whoa. All the TikToks that I've seen featuring this product have been featuring the white or the lavender, so the two lightest shades in this collection. And so even though most of them were ads, what actually drew me in was how brightening those powders were. But this one, I will say, is kind of similar because you can almost use it as a highlighter rather than a setting powder. It is absolutely matte. See how it has this bright pinky sort of effect? Oh baby, this is pigmented. This is a pigmented powder. I'm actually really glad I chose this very, very light shade. I actually think it's able to deliver something very cool. So far, I like this. I'm gonna test the medium shade now all over the face. I'm not gonna use the included sponge, just gonna use my big old brush. I don't know if you can tell, but the brush actually picks up a lot of product. So because the powder is so thin, it's really easy to pick up with a brush or with a sponge. And so that results in a lot of pigment being dispersed. I don't know if it's because I'm wearing black or if it's because I'm feeling slightly sinister today, but this makeup is giving me very Morticia vibes. Look at that, you guys. This powder offers a lot of coverage. Wouldn't necessarily apply this with a sponge like I just did, but for testing purposes, it's nice to see what it's capable of doing. Very, very interesting. All right, should I test out the light soft blur or have I had enough of this Catrice? I think I've had enough. I think I understand what this product does. It's not my favorite powder that I've ever tried. I get it. It's a little bit heavy on the skin. It kind of makes other products underneath feel a little cakey. And so I think I'm just going to leave that alone. I think we get it. All right, let's move on. We've got a new holiday collection from Natasha Denona in this very, very gorgeous golden pouch. And all of these actually came in like ornament types of packages because it is for the holidays after all. We have just the cutest glitter and ink splatter type packaging here for the My Mini Dream Glow Blush. And this is a trio with a highlighter and 2 blush shades that almost look like they could be contour shades. We also have My Mini Dream Cheek Duo. Looks like a creamy blush and a highlighter. Next, we have an eye duo with a super, super sparkly, very shiny lid shadow and also like a crease shadow. And then we have a trio. They're so cute, just the cutest little minis. I love Natasha Denona minis. So this is the My Dream palette, the Baby Dream palette actually. Last but not least, we have a lip liner. I Need a Nude in NP1 Natasha. And finally, take a look at this. I hope the camera can catch it. Look at that beauty. She is fully glittery. All right, so let's try it. I'm thinking I definitely want to go in with this blush duo. Kind of going to mix it on my brush here and add just a little bit of that. Very natural. Oh yeah, really liking this side of my face much more today because obviously less acne breakouts here and it's just a lot smoother. The makeup lays a lot smoother. Here, I just feel like there's a lot going on. There's a lot of bumps. There's just too much powder, too much concealer. I feel like I can't even appreciate the blush as much as I can appreciate it here. You feel me? Does that ever happen to you? But yeah, this is definitely cute. Let's see if I can test out this highlighter from the duo. It's a beautiful champagne-y shade. Not too much though, just enough glow. I like it. All right, I'm gonna set that aside because for my eyes, I actually have something totally different in mind, and it is for Patrick Ta. This is such a gorgeous PR package. We have a menu, and here we have the new Major Dimension Essential Artistry Edit eyeshadow. So basically, there are 3 versions of this 6-pan eyeshadow palette, a light, a medium, and a deep. So here I'm holding the medium, and basically these are browns to sculpt, to define, to carve out, smoke out, and really bring out your eyes. So the medium is obviously meant for medium skin tones or perhaps brown eyes, and the deep is meant for deeper skin tones, light for the lightest. And in addition, we have a bunch of new Major Dimension eyeshadow duos. These are brand new duos. Oh, they really glued this brush down. We also have a dual ended brush. So let's go ahead and get started. I am thinking I definitely want to go for something dark. So I'm going to start with the Precise Tip and the second to darkest brown shade. Ooh, this is so velvety and so pigmented. Like this is just rich. Do you see that? That almost applied like an eyeliner. Like I love. And this is so easy to smoke out. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, like I am obsessed. That shade. Wow. What I love about Patrick Ta matte eyeshadows is how seamless they are. There's really no drag whatsoever with these shadows. There's no like spacing or skipping. Not at all. These apply so smoothly. I mean, just incredible. Just incredible. I'm going to take a little Precise brush and add that to my lower lash line. Almost like lining it on the bottom. So good. So good. This is my favorite product that I've tried thus far in the video because there's clearly a wow factor here. This is just incredible, incredible quality. All right, I'm going to reach for just the lightest shade here, actually with the Precise brush. I'm going to use that to blend out that line, just to soften it and to blend that into my powder. Actually, this shadow is equally as nice, equally as velvety. So I'm going to pick that up and just really brighten that inner corner. This might be my new go-to palette for just every day, for smoking and for defining the eye whenever you just need to make it pop a little bit more. This is great. All right, and then I'm going to reach into this taupey shade, and I'm just going to run that through my eye socket, just like that. Now I really want to try this deep dark chocolate shade and add just a little bit more right here. Unreal and so easy. Just stunning. Now finally we've made it to the duos. So we have kind of like a gunmetal smoky duo. This one's called Always on Your Mind. Next we have a very golden bronzy When the Sun Sets. Actually, this is more of like a sunset shade. So maybe a little bit more coppery and like a champagne-y shade. Next, Berry Tones. Slow Burn is what it's called. I love a good slow burn movie. And last but not least, In Your Dreams. And this is your pink champagne and a gold. I am thinking, kind of want to go for warmer, but not too warm. All right, I'm going to go for this gunmetal shade, but I'm going to reach for the top. So these eyeshadows are supposed to be kind of like toppers. Super, super sparkly, super dimensional. Oh yeah, absolutely stunning. You can kind of see when the camera doesn't focus on my face, you can see how it sparkles and shines. It almost looks like the lid is wet. Oh, I love that finish. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this light gold from the In Your Dreams duo. I'm going to add that one right to the brow bone, just stamping that on, kind of pulling across for a little bit of that reflect. Oh no, that is just too good. So essentially, these are fine sparkles baked in almost a translucent base, but the color of the sparkle actually reflects what you see in the pan. So that's what's really cool about these, and that's what makes them, I think, so special and so different from all other eyeshadows. Like, they're not quite foiled, they're not quite metallic, they're sparkly, but very fine and just very sophisticated and upscale. Upscale is the word that I'm going to choose to use. All right, I have just a little bit of fallout here. I have some sparkle fallout, but nothing too crazy, so I'm going to just flick that back, flick it off, and I'm ready to continue testing. As sophisticated and as upscale as that Patrick Ta PR package was, this limited edition collection inspired by the Upside Down from CoverGirl and Sally Hansen actually smells like mold. I think this is a scent that they chose particularly specifically for this collection. And when I opened it, I thought there was something wrong with the package. And then I realized, no, brands have done this before, especially around Halloween time, especially around these types of collections. There is this musky, frankly, disgusting scent. And this definitely smells very, very musky, borderline rotting. I am not a fan, but I guess if you are a fan of Stranger Things, the show, then this might be up your alley. Actually, they do have some really cool Insta-Dry Crackle nail polishes. I don't know if you guys can see right there in the center. And I haven't seen these since like the 2000s, okay? So those I'm really excited for. Everything else, I gotta say, is a little bit too creepy for me. But we're gonna try it anyway, because it's here. And so this is what I meant when I told you all of these collections today are all over the place. Some of them are very sophisticated and very upscale, while others are very upside down. Okay, so first and foremost, we have this CoverGirl Stranger Things eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like. It's got a very bold red eyeshadow, which I don't know if you know, but red eyeshadows are generally not meant to be used in the immediate eye area. So that is very bold of CoverGirl to include that, unless this is a blush. It is indeed a blush. So this is, I guess, a face palette. Never mind. The center one is a blush. These are eyeshadows. The rest are highlighters. I don't know how I feel about this. Off the bat, the scent just like threw me off so bad. I almost don't want to use this, but I think I should. So let's see what I can do to ruin my makeup. Let's actually maybe try this blush. And the blush is blushing, honestly. It's not that bad. I was, for some reason, expecting it to be really chalky red, like super pigmented and dry and hard to blend out. But it is surprisingly kind of wearable, actually. I'm thinking I really like my eye look, and I probably shouldn't F with it. I'm going to close this palette out. Instead, I'm going to reach for one of these upside down kohl eyeliners. We have it in black shimmer. We have it in purple chrome and also a red satin. Again, if this is an eyeliner, and clearly this is, generally speaking, nothing with red pigment should be used anywhere near your eye, but I'm really curious. Oh, it even has a brush on the other side. Okay, it is indeed very, very red. Very red indeed. So if you want a red eyeliner, it's made in Germany, and perhaps it can be tried. I mean, might as well just go for it. So say goodbye to this look, because we are going to add to it. I will say this is very, very pigmented, and the glide is very smooth. The brush on the other side doesn't look super precise. In fact, it's kind of like a rough brush. Kind of feels like it should be scrubbing a mini toilet, you know? Not blending out your eyeliner, but you know what? They did something here. I appreciate them going for it. I'm going to go for the black. This is a shimmer black, so it's a black with sparkles. Just gonna add that to my waterline. Oh yeah, she's suddenly not so nice anymore. She's not so sophisticated. She is definitely heading in a completely different direction. But I am gonna go back to the Patrick Top palette. I'm just gonna grab the deepest brown here. I'm gonna just seal that tiny little edge where the liner meets the lashes, just like that. Just so that there's no gaps. Cute, 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 cute. I desperately need a mascara, but I don't think I have a new one to test out. So let's just reach for something relatively new. This is the Sigma Lash Icon. Can't remember if I like this one or not, so I might as well just try it again. Wait, why don't I hate this look? I was so skeptical about all of these different collections, from holiday to Halloween to just every day. I wasn't certain how to make them work, how to pair everything together, but right now I'm actually really liking my eye look. Something about it is unique and different, so I'm appreciating that, and I'm not even missing that really pretty Patrick Ta look that I had before. I feel like this is even better. This is even more interesting. All right, that's good. Well, let's move on. I have some new products in the lip category from Catrice, but obviously I showed you that Natasha Denona sparkly lipstick, so I'm gonna go for that. I'm gonna use the I Need a Nude. I already have a lip stain on my lips, but we're gonna ignore that. In fact, this shade over the lip stain almost looks like a gray, like that crazy MAC Angelina Jolie color from the 90s. We also have some really weird looking glosses from CoverGirl and Stranger Things. We have a gray gloss and we have a green gloss, but this is actually supposed to be a pH transforming gloss. So I bet this gray probably goes on pink. Let's see. Oh no, it is definitely gray. But I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Wait a minute. Why was I so scared? Why was I so reluctant? Why was I so thrown off by the scent of this collection? Now I'm finding that I'm actually liking these products. Like, I like the red eyeliner. I like the gray gloss. What? Who am I right now? Okay, so here's the gray gloss. And maybe I should keep it. Maybe I should save the sparkly lipstick for another video. Oh no, we're gonna try her. All right, here we go. Ooh, this is very interesting. This actually has a metallic finish. It's kind of like a metallic nude. Very, very 90s also. I like it. I know the glitter does not actually come off on the lip for some reason. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach back for this gray gloss. I'm gonna add it on top. Oh, she is ready to bite. So final look. Let's judge her. Let's ignore this side of the face because I'm just not pleased with all the bumps. I'm not pleased with the cakiness of the foundations, or rather the concealers mixing in together and all the powders. I don't like this side of the face. I don't like how I did it. I guess I went a little overboard with the concealer, but this side of the face is a little bit more presentable. Though I will say that even still, the concealer is settling into some lines where I don't even have lines. I didn't even know I had any sort of line formations here, but I'm definitely seeing them now. I'm seeing them in my monitor. I'm seeing them in my mirror. And frankly, they're not really there. So these concealers from Makeup Forever, I will definitely give them another chance because it's Makeup Forever, because their name is so trusted and it's just such a great brand. But for some reason, I don't know, these did not feel intuitive to me. These felt a little bit hard to use and just a little bit too texture enhancing for my liking. I did actually like the LYS concealer, especially in the under eye. I thought it was very brightening, very, very pigmented, obviously worked with all the powders. Speaking of powders, I was not crazy about the Catrice Soft Blur. This felt a bit heavy on the skin. Kind of saw it. Again, it was very texture enhancing, looked kind of cakey with the concealer. Perhaps not a good match, but even still, I didn't find it to be fine enough. The Makeup Forever powders, however, were definitely something different. They were fine enough, but yet very, very pigmented. So probably a really good product to highlight and contour with if that's what you want to do. Definitely has a solid matte finish, but not so matte that it gives bulk to the face, you know? All the Natasha Denona products that I've tried in this video were just fine, very good as always. I really liked the blush, but then I added more blush from the Stranger Things collection, which actually I will say this collection probably surprised me the most. I did not think I was gonna like this, even though I like Stranger Things and it is a show that I watch whenever it does come back every few years or so. I don't really care to have a Stranger Things makeup collection, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm not in that age category, or perhaps it's just not something that I would dare to explore ever on my own. But I appreciate the fact that they tried, and they tried to do something different, like this red eyeliner and this gray gloss, and the super red blush that is actually quite wearable. So all of those things I do appreciate. I am going to try the Insta Crackle nail polishes. I am right now on a nail polish journey. So those are my thoughts. Ooh, I just realized they have a PH blush, and it is a unique shade, like a purple, that maybe perhaps I'll try in a different video. You know what? I like the fact that they stepped out of the ordinary. And for that, I applaud them. I really like the Natasha Denona lip liner, and the lipstick, although not glittery, it was still quite interesting and quite pretty. I like the way that I paired it with the gray gloss. And now we got to get the swatch model in here so he can judge the hell out of our look. Hey, swatch model, can I bother you for a sec?
Hola.
What do you think of my makeup?
The eyes. I like what foundation you wear.
Who cares?
You've been trying a new foundation.
I did, but
I like the foundation.
you like it?
It's not bad.
Really? What do you like about it?
It's pretty consistent from top to bottom. And I like the way it's working with the blush. And I'm not a blush guy, but like the texture, they complement each other. Sometimes the foundation and the blushes don't match. So if, let's say you have a foundation that kind of leans one particular way, maybe dewy or not, but the blush or the highlighter doesn't match the vibe of the foundation, it could look a little mad girl.
Mad girl.
Yeah, like a doll you would get in Target, or, you know, like brat girl.
Brat girl.
Mad
All
girl.
right. I see. So you like this makeup look, and you like particularly the foundation and the eye.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking really hard. I'm looking for something I don't like. So far, I would have to say it's nice. I think you look very pretty. I know you're a little tired from everything. We got the big things coming up, so I know you're a bit. But I think it looks really nice.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really, nothing really. I have one criticism.
Go ahead.
What's the red line on the nose?
What red line on my nose?
It's just like a red mark going down the nose.
It's a little blush. What's up? You don't like?
No.
You don't like blush on the nose?
No, look like you got bit on the bridge.
My sister does this all the time. You don't like when she does it?
Well, it just looks like you got a little bug bite. Oh, that's better.
Okay. Well, thank you for your input. We appreciate it. We appreciate your commentary. You know, I have a really hard time speaking today. I messed up like 17 words. Yeah.
We got a lot going on. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, you guys. All right, on that positive note, I'm going to zoom on out. Thank you, swatch model. Brat girl, matte girl is heading out. She is going to wash this face. She is going to head to bed. I will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned, because in the next video, I am going to have a lot to talk about. All right, peace out. I'm out. Deuces. More videos.